Hey, did you make off with that armor while none of us were looking? Because I've gotta admit, you look pretty snazzy in it.
He didn't steal it, if that's what you mean. Bregan gave it to him as a parting gift.
Ah, right. Although it makes sense, I guess. It's like a symbol of rebellion in its own way.
Which is why it should have been your father wearing this, not me.
I don't know. I don't think he could have pulled it off like you, man.
I wonder what the last wearer of this armor was dreaming of for Cyslodia when they decided to rise up and fight.
Who knows? Anyone who could have answered that is long gone. Truth is always lost with the departed.
Are you saying there's no point in trying to understand why they gave up their lives?
No, only that it's impossible to know for sure. Look, I can tell that you're concerned about Cyslodia's future, but we do have other things to take care of. You can't shoulder all of the world's problems, Alphen. If you try to, you'll only find yourself buried by the weight of it all.
Yeah, I know. My path is forward, and I'll do what I can, here and now.
You were born in Calaglia, right, Law?
Oh yeah, it's scalding hot all the time there, so I was shocked when I learned Cyslodia is the exact opposite. Not to mention dark.
Not anymore, thankfully.
How did you even manage to cross the border between realms? All 5 realms are supposed to be closed off, due to the nature of the crown contest.
What? Is this an interrogation now?
I didn't mean it like that. I just figured if a Danon like you was able to slip between realms, it could come in handy later.
Ah, good thinking. I don't think I really did anything all that creative, though.
What? Don't tell me you climbed over the walls of fire.
Oh, hell no. Not even Zoogles could do something that crazy. Nah, I stowed away.
In what?
Oh, you'll like this. The realms don't maintain much contact with each other, but there are resources each is looking to trade for. So, there are cargo convoys from each of the lords that go around a few times a year to lend those resources to each other.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that. That was the only time the gates of Calaglia would ever open up.
Right. Obviously, they don't let Danons ride with them, so I snuck on board inside some cargo instead.
So you were carried out of the realm? You did great not getting caught. Way to go.
Let's just say I've always had a knack for sneaking around since I was little. I was also really desperate to get the hell out of Calaglia at the time. I had more guts than brains that day. If I had to guess, I probably wasn't the first one to ever do something like that. Danon or Renan.
I wonder if that's how Ganabelt, was able to hear about what happened in Calaglia so quickly.
So in other words, we should always assume that the enemy is informed about whatever it is that we may be up to, wherever we go. Shouldn't you be resting?
I wanted to talk with you for a bit.
I don't really want to talk right now.
Right. I'll, stop bothering you then.
I didn't say you were bothering me. Sorry. Don't take it personally. I'm just not used to being around other people, so I don't really know how to chit-chat.
Well, for a start, you let your guard down a little. Hey, here's a thought. What if you tell me about your childhood?
What with my thorns and all, I didn't really have one. Not to speak of, anyway. Although, I guess I did have one friend.
Who was it?
A really old doll.
Oh.
When I was a little girl, the doll was the only thing I could touch and hold without worrying about my thorns hurting it. I would do things like dress it up or sit it on my lap when I was eating. The two of us were practically inseparable.
Can I ask something?
Is it about the fact that I played with dolls?
No, it isn't. I only wanted to ask who gave you the doll in the first place.
I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Where is it now?
I had to leave it behind when I left Lenegis. I didn't have a choice. Most likely it's long gone at this point.
Law?
Yeah, sorry. Just a little travel weary is all. Looking forward to finally getting out of here, you know?
Still beating yourself up about your dad, aren't you?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. But that's not what I was just thinking about.
Oh?
I never did tell you how I ended up hanging around with the Snake Eyes, did I?
Not properly. All I know is you had a falling out with your dad and ran away from home.
Getting to Cislodia almost killed me. Once there, though, I actually ended up joining a resistance organization, believe it or not. Of course, before long, someone ratted us out. And we were ambushed by the Snake Eyes. I'd never seen such brutality. If I hadn't surrendered...
Law?
I don't know why. They let me live. They made me watch as they butchered my friends right in front of my eyes. I still have nightmares. I hear roars of Zeugles as my friends scream. The snow stained red with blood. And all the while, those bastards laughing. I thought that with Ganabelt defeated, I'd be able to put it all behind me. Turns out that was a little optimistic. I was terrified they would kill me too. So I wound up betraying the memory of my friends and getting my old man killed in the process. I wonder if I'm any braver now. What if one day I panic again and end up running away like always?
And leave us behind? You really think you'd do that?
I hope not. But who's to say what I'm really capable of?
Ah! I found you.
Something wrong, Rinwell?
How very perceptive of you. When I turned around, you were gone, so we came back to look for you.
Maybe tell us next time you decide to stop? We need all our manpower to face these Zeugles.
Geez, okay. I can't help it when nature calls, can I?
Nature? Ew, gross! Here?
Let's make tracks, shall we?
I hope he makes it through this.
You invited him along. He's your liability.
He's Zephyr's son, Shion. What was I supposed to do? Just leave him?
Fine. Just don't come crying to me about it, all right? I've got enough deadbeats slowing me down as it is.
Why did people dig this path so far underground?
Maybe it was too dangerous on the mountains for them to traverse over them.
So you're saying that before Dana was conquered, Danans made this so that they'd have a way to get through the mountains?
If I had to guess, they might have even lived inside of these once upon a time.
Not like there's any way of knowing now. Not after all our history was lost.
No, it wasn't lost. It was stolen from us by the Renans because they thought slaves didn't need it. And because keeping it around would have made it harder to control us.
It's not all gone. Look at that over there.
What is it? It looks like a broken piece from a dish or something.
Probably. It's true the Renans erased a lot of our history. But if we look hard enough, I think we'll find there's still plenty of it left. But first, we have to win the freedom to even look for it.
We'll win it, all right. Then we'll reclaim our history. Hey, Law. Back when we left Cisloden, you remember how you said so long as you don't give up, there's nothing to stop someone starting over?
Yeah?
Well, I think you did just that. You've set out on a new path despite what happened in your past. Besides, you're not the only one fumbling your way through things.
You too?
It was your dad who taught me to fight. Back at the start of all this, I knew that so long as I followed him, I wouldn't end up straying. But it was also your dad who told me the importance of becoming my own master, of searching out the answers within me. I always figured I would one day. But at the same time, I had so much more to learn. When he died, I suddenly found myself rudderless. Sure, our immediate goal is to defeat all the lords. But then what comes after that? There's no one left to point me in the right direction. It was then that I realized, no matter how much I fret about it, the only thing I can do is fight. Renin brutality isn't going to right itself. So that's what I'm doing. Fighting. And in the meantime, I'll try to figure out my next move. Right now, that's about all I can do.
And you really believe you got what it takes to win this? Against all the odds?
Yes, I do. Or at least I want to. If I'm being completely honest, sometimes I'm not really sure whether I can or not. So what if we're still figuring stuff out? If we do it together, then we can support one another along the way. Is there anything so wrong with that?
No, I don't think there is. I think I get it now. We may not know what we're capable of, but we have to try all the same.
Having another one of your secret meetings? Don't tell me you were taking yet another bathroom break?
Oh, we were just engaging in a bit of brotherly bonding. Isn't that right, Alphen?
Yeah, that's right.
Fine then, suit yourselves. Hey, I think I can feel a breeze up ahead. I bet the exit is real close.
Finally! Man, it's been too long since I felt the sun on my face. When I get in a tussle, I go full force right at him. Whoever makes the first move wins.
I do have to admit, it's quite the spectacle to watch you charge in and go to town on someone during a battle.
Yeah, it was actually my old man who taught me to fight that way. The more I lay the beat down on some baddies, the more fired up my fists of fury get.
Zephyr taught you? Wow. I guess you really are following in his footsteps.
There's nothing wrong with being so focused on offense, but the enemy always fights back at some point.
As long as I don't get hit, it's not a problem, right?
So what you're saying is you're too weak to take a hit.
You're not exactly one to talk.
What were you two talking about earlier?
Earlier? Oh, it was just serious guy talk. You know, the kind that girls don't get to hear.
Really?
Don't mind him, Rinwell. It's just... well, maybe it is a little difficult to talk about in front of women.
Difficult to talk about? Okay, now I really want to hear it. Unless... it's not the creepy sort of guy talk, right?
No! Okay? It's not creepy!
Okay, okay. As long as you're fighting fit, you can talk about whatever you like.
We're finally here. Menancia, the land of green. The place certainly lives up to its name, doesn't it?
Yeah, just feel that breeze. It's like night and day compared to Calaglia and Cislodia.
Unsullied, fertile land, as far as the eye can see. That's beautiful. Oh, what?
Oh, nothing. Just... I was thinking the very same thing.
That's the realm capital in the distance. The city of Vicent. A word to the wise before we continue. Menancia has produced more sovereigns over the years than any other.
Shion! Guess we should probably follow after her, shouldn't we? Hey, you all right, Law?
Yeah, fine. I was just thinking how Dad would have enjoyed this view. All this green in one place is... incredible. Anyway, let's get moving before we start looking tasty to monsters.
Is he going to be okay?
Eventually. That's a wall he'll have to overcome on his own.
So if I remember right, there are 6 elements of astral energy, and darkness is only on Rena, and light can only be found on Dana, right?
Right. I only remember because my parents drilled it all into my head when I was little.
How did we find out about dark astral energy in the first place if it's not on Dana, though?
Beats me. I couldn't tell you how or when we figured out that sort of stuff. I'm sure there's other stuff we've forgotten along the way, too.
Yeah, I bet. And then we forget that knowledge was even forgotten at all, and it's back to square one.
Exactly. That's why we need to take good care of what knowledge and artifacts we still have left.
You really have a thing for old stuff, don't you?
Well, I don't know that I'd call it just a thing. It's also something that helps me feel connected to our world.
Connected?
It's nothing. Forget I even mentioned it. I should have guessed that there'd be no way he'd understand. How could he?
87! 88! 89! Oh, shoot!
What the? Is the enemy attacking?
Sorry about that. You're not hurt, are you?
Law? What on Dana are you doing?
What am I doing? Training, obviously. I found these nice and heavy rocks that I decided to strap onto my arms, but I guess I didn't tie them down good enough because they went flying.
So you were doing improvised weight training. You and your crazy ideas.
I can't help it. If I'm not training, it's easy for me to get anxious.
Well, that's fair. Actually, I remember seeing you practicing your forms for some time when we were camping the other day.
Yep. No amount of muscle will do you any good if you don't stay on top of your fighting forms. It always feels good when I know I'm still sharp.
Sounds to me like you have too much pent-up energy.
Don't train so hard that you wind up hurting yourself, Law. I promise you, you're already perfectly strong as it is.
No, I'm not. You never know what we'll run into out there. You can never go into a fight too prepared. And that's the truth. Besides, I won't rest until I know that I'm stronger than you, Alphen.
Oh, I see how it is. Well, I don't plan on letting you beat me. Maybe I'll add some weights to my sword and practice swinging it. That should help out.
Alphen, are you crazy?
You're right. This does make for decent training. Good call with the extra weight, Law.
Right? Now you get it!
Since we've already come this far, what do you say we have a little one-on-one with our rocks strapped on?
Hell yeah! I'm down for that! Just give me a second, I'll be all ready to roll. Okay, I'm all set. Let's do this! Take this!
I'm just getting started.
Our camp is completely wrecked!
Go. You two are cleaning it up.
Yes,
Shion.
Hoodle, come here, sweetie. Woo! Good boy.
What are you doing?
It's flying practice. Hoodle doesn't really like to leave my side, but if I don't make him spread those wings every now and then, they'll start to weaken. It's important he practices. Also, I'm pretty sure he put on some extra weight. Ooh.
Probably because everyone keeps sneaking him snacks when you're not looking.
I knew it! I thought there was something fishy going on. Oh, it's really not good for birds to be overweight, you know?
Oh, really? I'm sorry, Rinwell.
You were feeding him too? You haven't been giving him anything he can't eat, have you?
I'm pretty sure everything I've given him has been okay. Just to be sure, though, why don't you tell me what he can't eat?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Is something the matter?
No, not at all. It's just, for a really long time, Hoodle was the only friend I had. So on the one hand, it makes me really happy to see everyone be so accepting. But on the other, it's a bit of an adjustment sharing him, you know?
Every one of us can see that he's like family to you. I can promise no one's trying to ignore your feelings or anything.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. I'll talk to the others about it later.
Oh.
You okay? You made a weird sound.
Sorry. I was just thinking how amazing this view is.
What's the matter? Haven't you ever seen mountains and fields before?
Actually, now that I think about it, it's not every day we get to enjoy views like this.
You too?
Yeah. Calaglia has rocky landscapes, but the terrain here is completely different. Like, you see that mountain over there? Doesn't it look like a big wave that somebody turned into stone?
Right? And those ones look like the horns or claws of some giant monster. I'm surprised they managed to stay up.
Yeah. Just be thankful we don't have to pass under them.
Actually...
They won't come tumbling down that easily.
You sure about that?
Menancia harvests Earth energy, which explains why the topography is so varied here. It's also why those rocks are bound to be sturdy.
So all that astral energy is also what makes this realm look so lush, then? Does astral energy really have that much of an impact on the land?
Yeah. Is that why even that mountain looks the way that it does?
The stronger the energy is, the greater impact it has on lots of things. So yes, like a great big fire.
But these imbalances are too pronounced to be nature's work. It's not how Dana would otherwise naturally look.
If it's not natural, then you mean all of this is the Renans doing?
When you put it like that, even something as nice looking as this starts to feel wrong.
Look, Renan soldiers!
Do the Renans control this city? I've never seen so many of them in one place before.
No. Look at the cores on them. These people are all Danans. They're slaves.
If they are, they're awfully well dressed.
And they're smiling, too. Something weird's going on here.
Forgive the intrusion, but if I'm not mistaken, you're newcomers to Elda Menancia, yes? Please, you have no reason to be alarmed. My name is Droshin. I work at the Department for Welfare.
Department for Welfare?
We work to support the day-to-day living of all citizens. Welcoming newcomers to the realm is a part of our job, albeit one we rarely have the pleasure to perform.
Let me guess. We get a free pair of shackles as a welcome gift.
Perish the thought! Your trepidation is perfectly understandable, but I assure you, our way is quite different. In the past, this realm was no different from any other, and run by a rather merciless ruler. But all of that changed once His Excellency, Lord Dohalim, assumed power 7 years ago.
Dohalim.
Under him, for the first time in our lives, we Danans were treated with the respect we deserve. Lord Dohalim is adored by Danans throughout the realm, and we serve him with gladness.
Am I hearing you right? The Danans here willingly serve a Renan lord?
Please, see for yourself. You're free to go anywhere you like. Just ask if you should need anything.
What is it? Spit it out.
It's just, we came here to free everyone.
Uh-huh.
But the Danans of this realm are all happy to serve Dohalim. Are there any walls that even need tearing down?
Who cares? That just makes our path to Dohalim that much clearer.
I guess, but...
Still, Droshin said we should check things out for ourselves. Maybe we should look around a bit, see what we learn.
Everyone walking the streets looks so calm and happy. I guess it really is true they don't treat Danans as slaves here.
Did they actually somehow achieve equality here? And if they did, why? To what end?
Something here doesn't feel right, even though they sure want to act like it does.
What is going through that Lord Dohalim's mind, I wonder?
Hey, Alphen. When do you find the time to train?
What's brought this on all of a sudden?
It's just, even without the blazing sword, you'd still be able to hold your own, right? But I never see you training.
I'd hardly call it a regimen. Unless exchanging blows with Zeugles counts.
I mean, sure, I get that real-life practice beats training any day. But you must have the odd trick or two up your sleeve.
I just told you, I really don't.
Wait, I've got it. It's your armor, right? You channel the extra weight into your strikes and...
It's actually not as heavy as it looks.
So not the armor, huh? In that case...
Just calm down a little, would you? Why are you so fixated on this anyway?
Well, because I want to make myself stronger.
You're strong enough as it is. I almost feel sorry for those Renan soldiers.
It's not enough. I need to keep working to get stronger. I won't allow myself to fail anyone again.
Law?
I'm useless the way I am now. If someone else dies because of me...
Law!
Sorry. Spiraling into self-doubt won't do me any favors. I know that.
None of us are invincible, Law. We're all just getting by, doing the best we can.
That's all we can ask of each other, right? It's as good a place as any to start, I guess.
To start what?
My new training regimen, of course. And what better way to kick it off than push-ups? 1, 2, 3.
I admire your enthusiasm. Just don't overdo it, okay?
Just wait. You'll see how strong I can get.
So, do any of you know anything about Lord Dohalim?
I think I remember hearing something back in Sisloden about how he fights using a rod.
A rod?
I don't know the details, but from what I gather, he swings a long rod around and uses it to stab and smack people from afar. I think there's also something he does with, like, trees or grass or something? I forget.
Grass?
Bear in mind that Elda harvests Earth astral energy. It would be no surprise for him to have some sort of control over plants.
So basically the point is we know nothing about the guy. Wish we weren't going in completely blind.
Halt! I presume you're Alphen, of Orbis Calaglia? I'm Captain Kisara of the Elda Guard.
Just Kisara? No last name would make you a Danon.
So it does. Is that a problem?
The Guard. Wait, so you're saying the Lord of Elda has Danons protecting him?
In this country, Danon guardsmen aren't unusual. Everyone who enlists does so of their own free will.
She sounds like she's serious, Alphen.
That makes no sense. Don't your people remember 7 years ago?
Wouldn't you be grateful if you were finally allowed to live as a free person? And for my part, there is no greater honor than being chosen to serve His Excellency, Lord Dohalim. I feel no shame. But all of that aside, I came seeking you, Alphen, at Lord Dohalim's behest. He wishes an audience with you.
With us?
Indeed. He awaits you at Autolina Palace. That is, if you choose to accept. I am here only as a messenger, not a kidnapper. Your reply?
All right. We'll meet your lord.
Very well. I shall return and deliver your acceptance. Please don't keep him waiting too long.
Before you go, what lies beyond this point?
A quarry manned by Danon laborers.
Nothing else?
There's a Danon medical facility for the severely ill at the back. However, for sanitation reasons, it's kept off limits, even to guardsmen.
That was odd. Why do you think this Dohalim would want to see us?
It's probably a trap.
Still, they already know we're here. Not like we can start being stealthy now. We might as well listen to what he has to say.
That Kisara woman. She sounded pretty smug about serving Dohalim, didn't she?
She still has a Renin for a boss. How is that any different from being a slave?
Renin society is a meritocracy. To us, it's seen as natural that those who sit at the top rule over the rest.
It's the same old wall as the rest of Dana at the end of the day, just with a different coat of paint.
I guess it can change people's attitudes if they can at least serve someone they respect.
But they're still being deceived. It's obvious that's what's happening.
On the one hand, her loyalty really did seem to be genuine. But on the other hand, Calaglia had its fair share of Danons who just accepted Renin rule because it was all they'd ever known. With that in mind, it can be hard to tell if her loyalty truly came about on its own, or if it's just the result of years of subjugation.
Who knows? It might clear some things up if we hear what Dohalim has to say.
Yeah, you're right. Let's make our way to the palace.
I just don't get it. The Danons have endured years of suffering. How could they just turn around and trust the Renins all of a sudden?
Yeah, I've been wondering the same thing. But I guess they must have a pretty good reason, right?
Like what? What could erase 300 years of pain and suffering?
Maybe it's precisely because they suffered for so long that they see Dohalim as something of a savior.
Hey, whose side are you on here, Alphen?
Relax, Rinwell. All I'm saying is that we shouldn't jump to assumptions about these people until we know more about the situation.
I just don't get it.